volume. One of the things I really hate about being on the canal is when you get on the lean. Now this normally sits here, and this is how far over we are. As you can hear, all the doors are slamming, bits of wood are falling over. I don't know why it is, but on the canal, on this canal, you always go on the lean. I think because you're wild mooring all the time. Levels go up and down like a yo-yo, and you get hooked on the side and start going over. It's not a nice feeling. Good morning.
Morning.
And welcome back.
Yeah, welcome back. This one is the vlog I've been desperate to make. Bertie might knock the camera in a minute.
No,
he's
fine.
missed. Because this is the blacking one. We had loads of people tell us they want us to film the blacking because they've seen lots of videos of narrowboats being blacked, but not so many wide beams.
No, there isn't. Yeah, most people with wide beams perhaps get it done by other people rather than doing it themselves. Perhaps.
Spoiler alert, it's exactly the same as blacking a narrowboat.
Yeah, it's no different. Lots of people ask us, is it more expensive to black a wide beam boat? No. It all goes by length. So a 65-foot narrowboat has one side 65 foot, the other side 65 foot, and 7 foot along the back. With our wide beam, 65 foot down one side, 65 down the other side, and 11 foot at the back. So we've only got 4 foot more to paint.
Exactly. So you use pretty much the same amount of paint.
Yeah, it's not much difference, is there?
No, not at all. And it takes the same amount of time because we've had comments from people saying, "Oh, it's going to take you forever to black a wide beam." Well, you only black at the sides and the back, so it's no different. Absolutely none at all. It does help if you get help, which we did have, luckily.
Loads of help.
So thank you, James Wiedenbrook.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you, Amanda.
Yep.
And thank you, Jonathan from Never Enough Cruising. I think in the video I'll put a link in the description down below for their channel. They used to be on a narrowboat. They moved off the narrowboat due to family reasons, but they had a channel. So I suppose you
checking them out.
You can still check them out. You can still see their old videos, their old cruising videos. Their boat was beautiful.
Absolutely. And if you wondered where I was, I wasn't slacking. The dogs weren't allowed on board in the dry dock, so I had to take them away and stay elsewhere.
Yeah.
Mind you, I don't think my back would have allowed me to do much, but
no, probably not.
I would love to have been there.
So this is the video that I've been desperate to make. I love blacking the boat, so this is the video that I wanted to get out. So let's talk about costs. Julie, what were the costs?
The costs. So we came to Newbury Dry Dock, the dry dock company.
Big shout out to Joe, by the way. Yes. Customer service 100%, friendliness 100%. Helpfulness 100%. Even when we needed tools, we needed things like a grease gun to grease the tiller, the tiller bearing and mechanism. I didn't have the tools. He lent us the grease gun and the grease. So I can't fault this man. He was brilliant, I have to say. And just for the record, no, we didn't get a discount. No, we didn't get it for free. We paid full price. We're talking about just good old-fashioned customer service from Joe there at the dry dock company in Newbury.
Absolutely. So we purposely went there because it actually costs exactly the same to hire the dry dock for a wide beam as it does for a narrowboat. And that cost was?
It was £550 for the dry dock for 3 days. That's Friday 8 o'clock you go in the morning. You've got all day Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and then you refloat 8 o'clock on Monday morning and you're away. So that's 3 days over the weekend. That's £550. That's obviously for DIY blacking, and it's £50 a litre. Sorry, £50 for 5 litres of the blacking. We used 2 tins, so that was £100. Joe asked for a £150 deposit in advance. So in the end, if you add it all up, it came to £650.
Yeah, which we thought was really good.
To black a wide beam boat, considering we'd been quoted on the Thames, £1,200 just to lift the boat out, and that wasn't even including the £60 a day to stick it on chocks while we did it ourselves. So
it was also free to use the jet wash and things like that, and we know other companies do charge for that.
Yeah.
So we were really, really pleased, weren't we?
Yeah.
It was definitely worth the effort of coming off the Thames and just going down the Kennet and Avon Canal to Newbury to make that saving, which we desperately needed to do.
Yeah, so if anybody is thinking about blacking a wide beam boat and wants to do it themselves, you've only got to travel from the Thames. This is if you're on the Thames. You've only got to go from the Thames to Newbury. It's literally 4 stops.
Yeah.
So you could do it in 4 days, and you know you are saving yourself an absolute fortune. Plus, the facilities are great. He even lent me the scraper to get the barnacles and all the other crud off the bottom of the boat. You know, he lent me brushes, all sorts. You name it, he was there on hand. And plus, you can plug in as well, so you've got mains electricity too.
There's a tale about that.
Yeah, you'll see it in the video. Yeah, well, okay, let's get on with it, shall we? Roll VT.
We're totally on the lean. In fact, we're out of the water at the back. That being out of the water or being on the lean at the front is one thing, but when the back is out of the water, there's just no getting off. So, no idea why. Water levels seem okay, so it's not as if the water levels have dropped. We're on a riverised section of the canal, so there's plenty of water coming through. Whether another boat pushed us onto the bank a little bit more as they went by is a possibility, but we're really stuck. I'll show you the boat. It's out of the water at the back. I don't know if you can see, we're out the water by about 4 inches. All ropes are loosened as much as they can be, so they're really, really slack now. So if a body of water comes down, when somebody comes down in a lock, we're hoping that might do the trick, but I think it's going to need quite a bit of water and the water levels to rise up a little bit before we can get off the side. And we need to be in Newbury.
Right, so this morning we're off to the dry dock.
I've taken some photos of us coming in.
bolts look okay. They're all looking pretty good. I mean, their job is basically to erode, and they're doing their job, but they're still pretty good. A few years of life in them. So, we've power washed and we've got all of the crud off. This is limescale and it's stuck solid to the boat. So it's fine, I think, for us to paint straight over that because I've removed all the loose bits. But I'm going to go over it with a wire brush just to get any loose bits off again. But I wanted to try and get a nice clean edge where the water line is. Okay, so we've got all the old crud off, and now all we're left with is waiting for the hull to dry. I could try and put a coat on of blacking this afternoon, but just to be absolutely sure, I'm going to leave it for the day, let it dry, so that in the morning we can get the first coat on. So what I'm doing at the moment is just concentrating on sanding the rust spots and putting some rust treatment on them and touching up the paintwork. So that'll be my job for the rest of the day. But look, she's looking pretty good. The hull's in reasonable condition. There aren't any major issues. And the bonus is the anodes are in good condition too. So we've got another few years of those, or of life left in those. So jobs are good. I've got 3 people coming over tomorrow to help me. I was going to do it on my own, but Amanda and Jonathan, you might know them from Never Enough Cruising, and I've got a friend of mine called James coming over as well. So all hands, or many hands, make light work. So hopefully we'll get it done. 2 coats on tomorrow, or maybe 1 coat tomorrow, 1 on Sunday. So yeah, job's a good one. Okay, so I've treated the rust spots with hammerite rust treatment. You paint it on, it then turns black, which means it's reacting with the rust, and then I think you can paint on it after 3 hours. But I'm going to be doubly sure, and I'm going to go along and put a coat of hammerite rust treatment undercoat on it as well, so get double bubble if you like. But I just don't want the the rust to be a problem underneath the blacking. Anyway, we crack on. What I'm doing at the moment is I'm being a bit extra anal, to be honest. I've put on a layer of hammerite rust treatment, which I explained a second ago, and now I'm going over that with, it's called Hammerite #1 Rust Beater, and it's a 3-in-1 protection. It kills rust, restores metal, and then acts as an undercoat and primer. Now, I'm probably not doing this right, but I am putting it along this line here because this bare metal, I want to put the rust protection on it, even though I know it's going to have the blacking put over it. But I can just see spots where there's a little bit of rust possibly developing, and I've also put it further down on this part of the hull where there are, like here for example, where there are spots of rust, because I want them to be protected. I don't want them to corrode beneath the blacking. As I said, this isn't an exact science. I've watched many YouTube videos. I'm kind of making it up as I go along. I hope I'll get it right, but I figure the more prep I do now, the better the job will be. So I am in dry dock. I'm plugged into shore power. Let me show you. Nice big long cable, and we're plugged in down there. My problem is there doesn't seem to be any shore power coming through to the boat. So currently I have relatively flat batteries because I thought the shore power would charge them up. I don't have any shore power coming into the boat, so I'm going to have to, I think, either check that there's not been a power cut, because both ends of the cable are plugged in, and weirdly when I first set up this morning there was shore power and the inverter was on charge only, and it was showing the green mains light as being on and that we were in float. I don't know whether it's anything to do with me putting on the immersion heater or not, but if you're on shore power then it shouldn't be a problem. Yeah, I'm going to have to plug things into the Bluetti, so just to try and save my batteries, because I'm under dry dock for 3 days and I'm not going to get any solar in here because there's a roof. I can put the jackeries out and the solar panels, get solar for them, but at the moment I think I need to, well, find a plan B. Either that or find out if there's been a power cut. It's 7:30, day 2 of how not to black a boat. So I've got Jonathan and Amanda from Never Enough Cruising. You might remember them, they had a YouTube channel, they moved off their boat onto land. And I've also got James Wiedenbrook, who's a viewer of the channel, who's desperate to come and help out. So they're coming over for about 9:30. So we should get some really good progress today. Yesterday, I think if you remember, I managed to get all of the old blacking off. I managed to get some of the lime scale off. I managed to rub down and treat the rust patches, and I also applied a hammerite rust treatment and then a hammerite 3-in-1 rust treatment, so I sort of doubled down on the rust. Probably a bit of overkill, but at the end of the day, you know, you can't prep too much, can you? Today it's going to be about blacking the boat and getting some blue paint onto the lower areas just above the gunnels, or just below the gunnels I should say, to try and make the boat look good and get it blacked. So let's get on with the day. Oh, I forgot to update you. Last night I said to the camera I might have to use the Bluetti because there was no power coming into the boat. After much digging around trying to find the reason, I immediately thought the worst and thought that the inverter had broken. Deep joy. Then I checked the cable from the mains power source to the boat, and then swapped that over for another one. Still no power to the inverter to the boat. I went to Tesco's to get some bits for dinner. On the way back I realised I hadn't put any money in the meter, because here it's a pay-as-you-go meter, so you put a couple of quid in the meter. So that was the source of the problem. So nothing technical, nothing electrical, everything works fine. It's just that I hadn't put any money in the meter. Now obviously when I put the cable in, when I plugged into shore power at the start of the day, there was still some residue of money on the meter, so that's why the light came on and everything worked. I'd initially thought that when I switched the immersion on, that's what tripped it, but it was just that I hadn't put any money in the meter. So, crisis averted. So who do we have here?
Long time no see.
Yeah, long time no see.
Getting helpers to do jobs like this.
Yeah.
You can never get enough.
You can never get enough, and obviously it frees me up to stand there and film. Right, I'm going to squeeze by you guys just to show them what the blacking's been like so far, just so they get an idea. Sorry. so we've done from there to here. I'm going to use a smaller brush for this bit because obviously it touches the blue paintwork, so I don't want to get that on the blue paintwork. But so far, coverage is good. A cup of tea, Jane?
I'm alright for now.
You sure?
Yeah.
Or you meet someone? Andrew and Jonathan. Jonathan was on the Bristol.
So you've been press ganged as well, have you?
This is James.
Hi, James.
Fellow sailor, fellow Falklands. That man was on the Bristol.
Wafu?
Yeah, we came back on the same day, didn't we?
Were you on the Invincible?
Yeah, I was on the Invincible.
Yeah, he was behind you when you came back.
We came in behind it.
Yeah. That's right.
It's always important to take precautions, so you need your paper suit, you need your Wellington boots. I should be wearing rubber gloves, but I'm not. Also, just a little tip that the guy in the dock has told me, try not to get paint on your anodes like I have. It's a bad idea. Their job is to corrode, and unfortunately the blacking protects the anodes and stops them from corroding. So, do you know what that reminds me of? It reminds me of an album cover the Beatles made. They made the Beatles 62 to 66 and then the Beatles 67 to 70, and they were stood leaning over the balcony of the record company. So at this moment in time, Amanda, you look more like Ringo Starr and James, Gloria Honeyford. you look more like Paul McCartney. You'd take that, wouldn't you? You'd take that, wouldn't you? So, there's the crew. State your name for the video.
Amanda. James. Jonathan.
Yes. Otherwise known as the Thompson Twins. a band from the 80s, if anybody remembers it. I mean, obviously our audience is too young to remember that, because we're obviously too young to remember it ourselves. Right, so, there's your blacking, first coat. Did it all myself.
Oh, you liar.
Every last bit of it. All the cutting in. Look at that. Michelangelo couldn't have done a better job. Although I'm not sure he ever blacked a boat. So, first coat done. We've now got to wait 6 hours-ish. It's a warm day, but it's wet, so it's humid. And that's not really a friend of paint. I was hoping it was going to be dry, hot and sunny, so that it would then cure quicker, but hey-ho, it is what it is. It just means that we can kick back, drink some shots and field dress a cat for the afternoon. But yeah, so we'll wait for this paint to dry. That's the first coat, and then we'll do it all again tomorrow probably. I think this afternoon we might do some dry brushing on the blue paintwork. So we'll put the paint on and then we'll dry brush it with, I bought some special brushes that I think it's called laying off. So we'll maybe do that this afternoon to keep everybody occupied. Obviously I'm going to make lunch now. Oh, and by the way, which idiot didn't wear gloves? And I'm in charge of sandwiches. Okay, so we put the first coat of blacking on. I think I showed you that previously. We're now tackling the gunnels, and we've rubbed down and primed and rust treated any rust spots, and we're now putting the enamel paint on and laying off with a dry brush. So I'll show you how we're getting on. So let's have a look at a before and after. So this is before and this is after. I don't know whether there's enough light in here for you to see, but it looks incredible. Absolutely incredible. All that's left to do now is to paint this side of the boat, which we're not going to do today or tomorrow. We just don't have time or the paint. James is doing an amazing job. He's laying the paint on and I'm laying the paint off. Right, let's go and see what the other little munchkins are doing down this end. Alright, let's have a look.
Around the other side.
Oh, look at that. That's amazing.
You just got to pick it out with the white.
That's fantastic.
Well, we'll leave you to do that.
Julia will do that.
Would you
Yeah.
do
Yeah.
that? Because she's got to do something, hasn't she?
She has. And this is the other side. Looking incredible. That's before, that's after. So if I show you the bum from back here, you can see there where Amanda's painting on the enamel paint, and you can see the difference. It looks like a brand new boat. It's fabulous.
It's amazing what coat paint does.
Painting update. Let's have a look and see what Amanda's doing. Oh, now look at that.
Never knew you was a dabber.
No, that's right.
She's like the David Hockney of the canal boat world.
Oh, done my bit, done my bit. I really enjoyed painting of the our boat when we had it, and the blacking. That was really great fun.
Yeah.
Really enjoyed doing that. So we couldn't turn down an offer. Come down and paint your boat.
If I'm being brutally honest, viewers, we didn't actually ask them.
No, we just turned.
They volunteered.
No, we said we are coming down.
Yeah. I mean, I said to Julie and I said to Amanda earlier, and I think I mentioned it to you, Jonathan, that when you messaged on Facebook asking if we were doing it ourselves or getting someone to do it, I turned around to Julie and said, "That's Jonathan's in." That's his conversation starter. The next will be, he's probably sat there itching to come and help.
We were. Yep, absolutely.
You know us too well.
Yeah.
And us too as well.
Yeah.
And turned down an opportunity to be back on the boats. That's for sure.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's for sure.
So it's like being back in the dockyard.
Yeah. But she's looking good.
Oh yes.
So, we've only got the other side to do. We're only going to put one coat of the blue paint on. It's enamel paint. Because we're painting blue on blue, we only really need one coat to freshen it up. And then all that's left to do after that is the second coat of blacking, which will go on tomorrow morning. Once that goes on, it'll have all day to set. We'll probably be finished by about 11:30, 12. And then it'll have all day and all night to set, ready to go back in the water on Monday morning, 8 o'clock. Job's a good one. I've enjoyed this. It's been such a lot of fun. So if anybody out there has got a boat that needs blacking, I'm not saying I'm going to do it for you, but I would say, rather than pay someone to do it, you might want to. That's entirely up to you. But if you do feel inclined, it's a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun. And, you know, it's an experience. Okay, so there she is. She's had her side and gunnels painted, nice and shiny. I think you'll agree. And first coat of blacking. So all that's left for tomorrow is to do some finishing off, paint, if we can, the top of the bow, and put the second coat of blacking on. We'll probably do that with a roller. But I think she looks pretty damn good. And I did it all on my own. Yeah, I had no.
Pinocchio.
Liar.
Well, you're not allowed on here. This is a restricted site.
We'll just take back what we've done.
These are drunks. They've turned up from the local pub. They're drunk. In fact, I think they're homeless. They look it.
We are at the moment.
Yeah, they look homeless. So I'll give them a biscuit and send them on their way. But no, these guys have been absolutely brilliant. They've helped me massively. I would not have got this far today if it hadn't have been for their help. So I'm thanking them wholeheartedly. That is what we call a successful day. So my volunteers arrived this morning. Thank you, Amanda. Thank you, Jonathan. Thank you, James. And they got here about 9:30. And in that time, it's now 3:30, we managed to put one coat of blacking on the entire hull, including underneath the stern. We managed to paint the gunnels and the running gunnel down the side of the boat all the way up to the front with enamel paint and lay off with a dry brush. So all in all, for about 6.5 hours work, quite a lot of things achieved. Amanda and Jonathan are coming back tomorrow, and we're going to do the second coat of blacking, and we're also going to do this blue paint. We're going to paint this, and the strips around in between this kind of aqua blue green, whatever the colour is, to make it look even more stupendous. But right now, this boat is looking pretty good. Okay, so it's day 2. No, what am I talking about? It's day 3. So it's the last full day. Jonathan and Amanda are coming back this morning. We're going to do second coat of blacking. We are also going to do some more of the blue enamel paint on the side of the boat. That's going to be interesting because obviously we've got to get some step ladders to get up and reach it. So yeah, it should be a good day. Yesterday we had so much success. We got so far. We did the first coat of blacking. That was done by 11 o'clock in the morning, and then we did all the blue coachwork paint down the side of the gunnels, dry brushed it, or laid off as they call it. That was good, all looked nice and professional, super shiny, it looks like a new boat. So the idea today is to try and do more of the blue paint work so that we can make it look even more spanking new. So let's see how we get on today. Today's weapon of choice, roller. We put the first coat on with a brush. We did that because the side of the boat is quite not pitted, but it's not smooth, put it that way. And there's an awful lot of limescale on there, so we wanted to get deep into any crevices or pitting or anything like that to make sure that we got a proper coverage. So we used big wallpaper sort of pasting brushes to do that. And then today, because we've got the first coat on, the second coat is a lot easier, and it's just a case of rollering it on. So hopefully it'll be a lot quicker and it will use less paint. So far we've used about 7.5 litres. The paint is £50 for a 5 litre tin. So we're going to probably come in at around £100 for the paint, which is not bad. That's the front. Don't she look shiny? And all of the blue that you can see, the outward facing blue, we did yesterday. And it's come up really nicely. Today we're going to be masking off this, and we're going to paint this blue to match this blue. So hopefully by the end of today this will look as good as this. Blacken your boat top tip. Don't forget your weed hatch. It doesn't seem much action, but it's always good to do it because obviously that's the bit that comes into contact with the water. And obviously, if you ever have to take your weed hatch out, water can sometimes splash inside the chamber. So protect it as best you can. Better to be safe than sorry. Blacking tip number 2, and this is an important one. It doesn't involve anything technical, doesn't involve anything to do with the boat or painting, but if you're going to black your boat, invite Amanda along because she brings never enough sausage rolls from Never Enough Cruising.
Absolutely.
They are an essential, they are delicious, and they will keep us going for the rest of the day. So Amanda, what are you up to?
Well, I'm doing this end piece here, underneath the windows.
Should we show them a before and after on that end
I
there?
will. Just 2 secs, otherwise you'll yell at me later. There you go.
So, paintwork before, paintwork after. You can see it there, look. That's a cracking job.
Thank you.
Cracking. Right, let's go and see how Jonathan's getting up. So we're doing this a lot quicker than we thought, mostly down to the fact that we've got so much help from Amanda and Jonathan and obviously James yesterday. But in fact, we're cracking on so fast that we hadn't intended on painting the blue panels on the side of the boat, but while it's in dry dock and we've got the paint, we may as well do it. And again, here's the results. So just explain to people what that technique's called, Jonathan.
Right, what I'm doing first, because it's so warm today, I'm doing about a foot. I'm getting a coating of paint on there, or 30 centimetres to you decimal people, and then I'm just laying it off downwards with the brush. That's why I can only do a foot, because otherwise the paint's drying so quick you don't get rid of your brush strokes going lengthways. Now all the brush strokes are going down and it shrinks in as it dries, and it's coming up quite nice. As you can tell by the gunnel there, look at the shine that's on that from yesterday. That's shrunk out now, hasn't it? It's dried.
Yeah.
But if you looked at that and said, I mean, it hasn't been rubbed down or anything afterwards and polished, that's just brushed on. And it's a fantastic finish on it.
It is. It's fabulous. And that's partly down to the skill of the person putting the paint on, but also the quality of the paint.
Yeah, the paint's got a lot to do with it, I think.
Yeah, the paint is extremely good quality. It's the actual aquiline colours. We found out what it's called, an RAL number. So we found out what the RAL numbers were for the two colours on the boat, and we ordered them from Devices Marina, and they've been absolutely brilliant. This paint is fabulous.
It is, it's beautiful.
And it goes a long way as well. You don't use an awful lot, and because we're obviously painting blue on blue, we don't have to undercoat. So yeah, boat should look nice and shiny. Well, certainly on one side at least anyway. So we have painted the blue panels. Look how lovely and shiny they are. And down here. And down here. That's it. We're all done. 3 days. We've stripped the old blacking off. We've rubbed down the rough parts of the hull. We've put one coat on, put the second coat on. We've also painted the gunnels. We've also painted the side panels of the boat as well, and the back of the boat, and also the weed hatch. So in 3 days, we've got an awful lot done. I'm really pleased with the results. I think it looks absolutely fabulous. Probably the best the boat's looked in a long time. Julie's not here, so she's coming back tonight, and I think she'll be pleased. I think she'll be very pleased. Apologies if there's some dust on the camera screen. It's quite dirty work doing this. But yeah, just take a look at the shiny gunnels. Next job, not today, but in the near future, paint this side of the boat. Because with our newfound laying off skills, that should be a doddle. Just need to order the paintwork. And then the boat will be looking spanking. After that, paint the roof. That was a very satisfying 3 days. I enjoyed it immensely. If anybody's not sure whether they should do the blacking themselves on their boat, obviously if you're able-bodied and able to do it, I would highly recommend it. It's a lot of fun.
So can we thank you so much again, James, Jonathan and Amanda. Without you, we wouldn't have got this far, would we?
No, we would not indeed. I secretly think that it was their fun day out. They had a plan to come and spend it the weekend doing it, and I think they thoroughly enjoyed themselves.
Let's hope so. We've got the roof to do next, guys.
Yeah.
So thank you for watching.
If you like this video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe. It's free to do so. And when you do subscribe, don't forget to click the bell icon that's around this screen somewhere.
And we'll see you next time.
No, we won't, because we want your comments.
Oh, we do. Don't forget to leave your comments. Mark will answer every single one.
Yes, and I know I'm blacking the boat, and I know I'm doing it my way. So if you want to give me hints and tips, fantastic, but please be kind, because I'm sure you all have your own ways of blacking a boat, and some of you out there have got massive amounts more experience than I have. So if you want to give me some hints and tips on what I did or didn't do or should and shouldn't have done, I'm more than happy to receive them.
And if you are thinking of blackening your boat, don't just take our word for it. Have a look at all the other boat tubers out there that also have blacking videos, and they'll be able to help as well.
Yes, and we'll see you
Next time.
next time.
Bye.
Bye.